Amelia had always dreamed of visiting Italy. Growing up in a small town in Ohio, she had spent countless hours poring over travel magazines and watching documentaries about the beautiful landscapes, rich history, and vibrant culture of the country. Now, at 34, she had finally saved enough money and accumulated enough vacation days to make her dream a reality. She decided to stay in a small village in Tuscany, far from the bustling tourist cities. She wanted to experience the true essence of Italian life, away from the crowds and noise. She rented a charming villa that overlooked rolling hills covered in vineyards and olive groves. It was perfect, like something out of a storybook. On her first morning, Amelia woke up to the sound of birds chirping and the soft rustle of the wind through the trees. She stepped out onto the terrace, breathing in the fresh, crisp air. The sun was just rising, casting a golden glow over the landscape. She felt a sense of peace and contentment that she hadn't felt in years. After a leisurely breakfast, she decided to explore the village. She strolled down the narrow cobblestone streets, admiring the old stone houses with their colorful shutters and flower-filled window boxes. The locals greeted her with warm smiles and friendly nods, making her feel welcome. As she wandered, she came across a small cafe. The aroma of freshly baked bread and brewed coffee wafted out, drawing her in. She took a seat at a table outside and ordered a cappuccino and a croissant. As she sat there, savoring her breakfast and taking in the sights and sounds of the village, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Scusi, is the seat taken?" She looked up to see a handsome man with dark hair and piercing blue eyes standing next to her. He had a charming smile that made her heart skip a beat. "No, please, have a seat," she replied, trying to hide her surprise. "Grazie," he said, sitting down across from her. "I'm Marco. I couldn't help but notice that you're not from around here." Amelia smiled. "You're right. I'm Amelia from Ohio. I've always wanted to visit Italy, and I finally made it happen." "Italy is lucky to have you," Marco said with a grin. "What brings you to our little village?" "I wanted to experience the real Italy, away from the tourist traps," Amelia explained. "And Tuscany has always fascinated me with its beauty and history." "You've chosen well," Marco said. "This village has a lot to offer, and I'd be happy to show you around if you'd like." Amelia hesitated for a moment. She didn't know this man, but there was something about him that made her feel at ease. She decided to take a chance. "I'd love that," she said. Over the next few days, Marco became her unofficial tour guide. He took her to all the hidden gems of the village, the best gelato shop, the most picturesque viewpoints, and the charming little market where the locals bought their fresh produce and handmade goods. They spent hours talking and laughing, sharing stories about their lives and dreams. One afternoon, Marco took Amelia to a vineyard owned by his family. They walked through the rows of grapevines, the sun casting long shadows as it began to set. "This place is incredible," Amelia said, looking around in awe. "I've never seen anything like it." "It's been in my family for generations," Marco explained. "My grandparents started it, and now my parents run it. I help out whenever I can, but my passion is painting." "You're an artist?" Amelia asked, intrigued. Marco nodded. "Yes, I love capturing the beauty of this place on canvas. There's something magical about Tuscany. The light, the colors, the landscape. It's an endless source of inspiration." "I'd love to see your work," Amelia said. "I'd be honored to show you," Marco replied. They walked back to the villa where Marco had set up a small studio in one of the rooms. Amelia was amazed by his paintings. They were vibrant and full of life, capturing the essence of Tuscany in a way that words could never do justice. "These are incredible, Marco," she said, her eyes wide with admiration. "You have such a gift." "Thank you," Marco said, looking pleased. "It means a lot to hear that from you." They spent the rest of the evening talking about art and life, their connection growing stronger with each passing moment. As the night went on, Amelia realized that she was falling for Marco. His passion for life, his kindness, and his talent had captured her heart. The next day, Marco surprised Amelia with a picnic. They hiked up to a hilltop that offered a breathtaking view of the valley below. Marco had packed a basket with fresh bread, cheese, olives, and wine from his family's vineyard. "This is perfect," Amelia said, taking in the view. "Thank you, Marco." "You're welcome," Marco said, pouring them each a glass of wine. "I wanted to do something special for you. You've brought so much joy into my life these past few days." Amelia blushed. "I feel the same way. I've never felt so happy and alive." They clinked their glasses together and sipped the wine, savoring the moment. As the sun began to set, Marco took Amelia's hand in his. "Amelia, I know we haven't known each other for long, but I feel a connection with you that I've never felt before. I don't want this to end when you leave." Tears welled up in Amelia's eyes. "I don't want it to end either, Marco, but I have to go back to Ohio. My life is there." "I understand," Marco said, his voice filled with emotion. "But I want you to know that you've changed my life. You've made me see the world in a new way. And no matter what happens, I'll always cherish the time we've spent together." They kissed, the world around them fading away. In that moment, it was just the two of them, connected by a love that transcended time and distance. As the days passed, Amelia and Marco made the most of their time together. They explored more of Tuscany, visited historical sites, and enjoyed romantic dinners under the stars. But the day of Amelia's departure loomed closer, casting a shadow over their happiness. On her last night in Tuscany, Marco took Amelia to a secluded beach. They walked along the shore, the sound of the waves soothing their hearts. "I wish I didn't have to leave," Amelia said, tears streaming down her face. "I know," Marco said, holding her close, "but I believe that if we're meant to be, we'll find a way to be together." They spent the night wrapped in each other's arms, the stars above them witnessing their love. As the sun rose, they made their way back to the villa, savoring their final moments together. At the airport, Marco kissed Amelia one last time. "I love you, Amelia. I'll wait for you no matter how long it takes." "I love you too, Marco," Amelia said, her heart breaking. "I'll come back to you, I promise." With a heavy heart, Amelia boarded the plane, watching as Marco disappeared from view. The flight back to Ohio was long and filled with tears, but Amelia held on to the hope that they would be reunited one day. Back in Ohio, life returned to its usual routine, but Amelia felt different. She had experienced a love so deep and pure that it had changed her forever. She and Marco stayed in touch, sending letters and emails, sharing their lives from afar. But the distance was difficult, and there were times when Amelia doubted if they could make it work. Months passed, and one day, Amelia received a letter from Marco. It was an invitation to an art exhibition in New York City, where he would be showcasing his paintings. Her heart raced as she read the letter. This was her chance to see him again. She booked a flight to New York, her excitement growing with each passing day. When she arrived at the gallery, she saw Marco's paintings lining the walls. They were even more beautiful than she remembered, each one a testament to his talent and passion. And then she saw him. Marco stood in the center of the room, surrounded by admirers, but his eyes were fixed on her. He made his way through the crowd and pulled her into his arms. "You came," he whispered, his voice filled with emotion. "I couldn't stay away," Amelia replied, tears streaming down her face. "I've missed you so much." "I've missed you too," Marco said, kissing her deeply. "I have something to ask you." He took her hand and led her to one of his paintings. It was a beautiful landscape of Tuscany, with rolling hills and vineyards bathed in golden light. In the corner, there was a small cottage that looked just like the one Amelia had stayed in. "I painted this for you," Marco said. "It's our place, where we fell in love. Amelia, will you marry me and make our dream a reality? Will you come back to Italy with me and start a new life together?" Amelia's heart swelled with joy. "Yes, Marco. Yes, I will." They kissed, the world around them fading away. In that moment, they knew that their love was meant to be. They would face whatever challenges came their way, together. Amelia moved to Italy, where she and Marco built a life filled with love, laughter, and adventure. They married in a small ceremony at the vineyard, surrounded by their closest friends and family. It was a day filled with joy and promise, the beginning of a new chapter in their love story. Together, they explored the world, their love growing stronger with each passing day. They found inspiration in each other, supporting and encouraging one another in their pursuits. Marco continued to paint, his work celebrated around the world, while Amelia continued her research, discovering new wonders beneath the waves. Their love story was a testament to the power of destiny and the magic of following one's heart. They had found each other against all odds, and their love had blossomed in the most unexpected of places. And as they stood on the terrace of their villa, watching the sun set over the Tuscan hills, they knew that their journey was just beginning. Hand in hand, they faced the future with hope and excitement, ready for whatever adventures lay ahead. Their love was like the ocean, vast, deep, and full of endless possibilities. And as they walked through life together, they knew that they had found something truly special, a love that would last a lifetime.